I told myself all summer long that I was going to give this plant some love, give it a new pot, refertilize it, all that kind of good stuff, so that it would be nice and pretty in time for Halloween. I say Halloween because I always thought it was called witch's fingers, but I see on the little tag that I uncovered after years of being in the same pot that it's actually marketed as dragon's fingers. And the real term is Sansevieria Cylindrica, which sounds like a witch's spell to me, so I love it even more now. But they're related to those mother-in-law tongue plants. As a matter of fact, I think some people call this mother-in-law tongue as well. I love those plants. They truly are set it and forget it kind of plants. You don't really have to pay attention to the lighting. You don't really have to pay attention to the watering. And they just grow, grow, grow. I had one in my guest bathroom for years and years and years. And that thing just flourished until I just gave it away. It was really terrific. This is supposed to sort of be a set it and forget it kind of plant too. And it was for a very long time. And then something went wrong. And you can kind of see the issues surrounding this plant. They've got these little pieces that dried out. Actually, some of them are falling out. I don't know what these are called, cylindricals, whatever. You can see they're dried up at the ends. They've got little brown spots and all that kind of thing. Now, some of these are very sturdy. I can like show you right there. I love this plant. I mean, it is a gorgeous plant. And I really do think I love really having it around Halloween time because I love saying that it's called witch's fingers or dragon's fingers, but it just looks kind of spooky. But again, I do love it all year long. So what I'm going to attempt to do today is, first of all, kind of diagnose what I have been doing wrong so I don't do that again. I'm not an expert. I've basically been YouTubing videos for about 2 or 3 hours now. I think I got a plan. And then I am going to break it apart, repot it, and hopefully give it some love. And then we can check in another couple of weeks right before Halloween to see if he or she is doing better. And hopefully it will be, because I really do love this plant. Coffee break. How do you like my mug, my Friday the 13th mug? Anyways, like I said, I got this plant probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I can't quite remember. I had it in this, it was in this pot. That's the pot I thought it came in. And then actually I had it sitting in another pot like this. Well, when I went to prepare for this video and kind of set out everything that you see here and pulled the plant up, this came out and I was like, oh man, I didn't realize it was actually in another pot, because my other plan was to just drill holes. I noticed that this had no drainage holes, and maybe that was the problem. This does have drainage holes, but there was really nowhere for that water to go. So I'm wondering, that might be one of the issues. It was kind of sitting in water. The other issue is I do think I've been overwatering it. I just do a sweep of all my plants once a week and just kind of water, water, water going around the house. Well, not all plants need to be watered once a week. So that's totally on me. And just feeling the soil now, it's pretty damp, and I have read that these like to dry out. So I think that's problem number 1. We'll talk about problem number 2 in a second. But these plants are supposedly very forgiving when you try to transplant them. So I'm gonna see, and this, I don't wanna hurt some parts because I can see little baby ones coming up. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if I can pull this whole thing out. There are roots at the bottom, so it's root bound too. Oh, there it goes. Okay, you can see everything right there. And supposedly what I can do now is just pull all of this apart. I grabbed a knife just in case I need to kind of hack through this. Let me take out the little easy care thing, which again, I did not even realize that was in there. There's actually a QR code on the back. I could have scanned it and probably seen that all the tips and tricks that I can do to take care of this plant, but here we are. All right, let's see if I can actually see, like, there are a lot of good little leaves, tendricles, whatever these things are called. Okay, it's coming apart pretty easy. I think what I'm gonna have to do is maybe, let me get my shears, maybe just cut some of these roots, to be honest with you. And I'm gonna pick apart, that's kind of ugly, and I don't think I wanna save that, to be honest with you. This one is gorgeous, so I wanna save her. This one, not so much, even though it's got a nice new shoot. I wonder if I can separate that, no. Okay, so this one we'll put right here in this little bucket as a you're going back into the pile. I want to show you, look how sturdy some of these are. I mean, they almost look plastic, which is kind of what I like about them. And I have seen them in stores where the tips are kind of painted. Really cute, but I don't believe in doing that to your plants. Now, I will say at Christmas, I have these like Hermie and Rudolph finger puppets that I found at Target that I will put on top of these, but they're easily removed at the end of the season. They don't seem to harm the plant, so I do that. Maybe I can find some Halloween ones. Or maybe if you know, in the description box down below, please let me know if you do something creative with your witch's fingers, dragon's fingers, whatever, to decorate them for the season and not harm the plant. But you can almost also tell, there's like basically, here, let me just shuffle that or it'll get everywhere. There's like no root to this thing. How does it grow? I have no idea. Again, I am not an expert in this. I'm a YouTube expert in this now because I've, taken my 3-hour masterclass. But these are in really good shape. So while it's going to be a smaller plant, it is going to look better when I have them all together. Okay, I've got a couple of piles going here. I've got the absolute no-no piles, which you can see they're all dried up. However, this is revealing to me because this part, I don't know if you can see, is saturated and wet and just spongy. So clearly I have been overwatering, and that is a major problem. So I think that diagnosis we can confirm. I had these little ones, and maybe they look kind of rough, but there's a couple of new shoots coming on them. Maybe I'll start, I have a really tiny pot in my cupboard. Maybe I'll just see what happens if I stick those in there. I'll clean them up and kind of chop off these little ends. And then I have these, the ones where I was like, maybe, but I will give it a shot only because they look pretty healthy except for this part. I have a few of those. I'll put those on the outside when I'm repotting so that if something happens to them, I can just yank them out and toss them. This one, of course, I'm also going to leave in there as a, okay, maybe you'll do okay, because it has some new growth coming up on the end, on the tip here or on the bottom. But again, I'm just going to snip this part and see what happens. Who knows? I might kill it, but hey, you don't know till you try. And then again, I did want to show you some of these things. I mean, I've been torturing this plant, I think, with water. I mean, there's water coming out of this part right here. So shame on me for doing that. I do have a little baby that I'm going to plant in there and see what happens with that. And then these are the good boys. I mean, look at this. These are okay. I like that we've been able to whittle these down. Some of them have new growth coming up at the bottom. For some reason, that one's bigger than all the rest, but okay. Love me a big boy. And we'll see what happens. I've got everything all cleaned up. I am not going to use any of the soil from the old stuff because I feel like the new stuff will have lots of nutrients and it'll just be better and drier, for one. That other soil was a little damp. Again, Scott's fault. But anyways, everybody that I've seen, not everybody, most of the people who are transplanting and repotting and taking care of their plants have been using a cactus mix. So that's what I'm going to try. I'm actually going to use the exact same little container that the original ones were in. I cleaned it out. And so I've got less of the cylindrical things. So that should be plenty of space for it. So I've got a little bit in the bottom there. And then I'm just gonna take these and group them just like that. I mean, that's super easy. I understand that they don't mind being in a tight space together like this. They love their little groups. So I'm just gonna go in and fill in with my cactus mix now and see if I can get these things to stand up again. And I'll fill it almost up to the tippy top because I see some little babies coming in, and I did save a baby to kind of nestle in there to kind of see how that goes. Okay, that's in there pretty good. Do I have them in a nice pattern? I don't really know if I'm going to worry about the pattern too much, to be honest with you. There we go. There we go. Here's a little straggler. Let's put him in the back here. That was pretty easy. That took all of like 15 seconds to do. And then I'm just going to put this into the inside of another pot. All right, there she is. And I told you there were a few that were going to be experiments that I kind of put on the outside because I wasn't for sure how well they were doing. They have these really dry ends. Let me see if I can get it up close to you. See the little dry, craggly end there? I think if I just snip that off, it'll be okay. This one is the same. But if it's not, again, what I can do is I can just pull those out in the future. So I am pretty happy with this. I am just going to sink, it's got good drainage now. I am just gonna sink it inside of another pot. I am not gonna water this thing right now. I wanna show you what I did with the little baby ones. I did put a baby one in the corner over here, right down there. I don't know if you can see. Just because it looked like it was doing pretty well, and I wanna see if it does perk up and is able to grow like the rest of these. So this is what I did with all the little ones that I wasn't for sure about. I just put it in this tiny little jar. I know that you don't see any drainage. There are no drainage holes in this little pot. So what I did is I filled it about half full with craft beads because I didn't have any rocks. So that would provide it pretty good drainage. And I will be very, this will probably be my tester. Like I'll try and let this go as long as I possibly can without watering. So I was talking earlier about one of the other mistakes that I thought I made, and I'm pretty sure, I'm looking back now at when I had this plant at first and where it was in my house and where it is now. It's definitely farther away from sunlight. Now it does get light, but not like light all day long. And when I first brought this home, it was near a very sunny window, happy as a clam. So I think moving it, and I only moved it because I was moving some stuff around in my house, it probably got moved around during the holidays. That's when a lot of my plants get moved around because, you know, you're making way for holiday decorations and Christmas decorations, and sometimes plants just kind of get in the way and you have to kind of move them to a different spot. Sometimes that's not good. So these both are going back into sunny windows. That is something that I saw on a couple of YouTube videos where they were like, these plants actually like sun, so make sure they get plenty of it. It is not a low light plant. So we'll see. Again, I don't know. You probably know more than I do, and you're watching this video and being like, that guy knows nothing. This is all done, like I said, from internet web research and YouTube research and trial and error. And I will say, like, I've been successful with a lot of plants from just like testing things out, especially those of us who were old enough to remember like before the internet where you could just go on every, you know, in a second and find out, you know, 10 different videos about anything. You actually had to read some books, you had to talk to friends, you had to do those kinds of, or you just had to try some stuff yourself. And I will say I have a plant over there that's probably 20 years old who's been with me through thick and thin, one of my very, very first house plants that I ever had. And it really was a trial and error of trying to take care of her. So I think that the trial and error sometimes works. Anyways, hopefully this plant will perk up. It looks much better right now, and I hope it stays looking like this through at least Halloween. I will check back in right before Halloween to make sure these witch's fingers, dragon fingers, mother-in-law tongue, whatever you like to call it, is doing better. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful. It's really an experiment in time. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Also check out all the other videos on my channel. I do more recipes, a lot of retro-based recipes, but I do love doing stuff like this also. So anyways, thanks for watching and have a great day.